I'm Kelly Mitchell, and you're listening to Breve TV Uncorked, Women on Wine, Business, and Evolution, sharing rich conversation to enlighten, challenge, and inspire the busiest people on earth. My co-host, Debra Trapin. Welcome to the show, Debra.
Thank you very much. Always love seeing you, Kelly.
Love seeing you, gorgeous, as well. We'll be in the stream every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, sharp. Is it Pacific time, PT? Yep. Playing the video at brevetv.com/live. See you there, and make sure and share with us what's in your glass. Salud! So I want to begin with a quote before we get into what's in the glasses. The holidays stress people out so much. I suggest you keep it simple and try to have as much fun as you can. If you can. Those last three words are mine. The first two sentences are Giada De Laurentiis, Miss Entertainment Lady Extraordinaire and Meal Fixer, to beat all Italians out of their pasta. Their homemade pasta sauce. Okay, let's get this party started. What do you say?
Woohoo!
Tonight, episode 72, Krista Sweeney. Krista Sweeney. We're talking about madness and mayhem. Let the insanity begin. Schools, holidays, and kids. And no matter how together you are, mayhem always rears its ugly face this time of the year. Meltdowns, usually yours, are best avoided, but without support, advice, or the namaste state of mind, you might go out of your mind. We're going to give you tips, tricks, and advice on how to manage through this, and also talk with Krista about her experiences. She's a single mama. She is the business image strategist and founder of the leading brand Image. So I'd love to welcome Krista to the show. Krista, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. How are you?
Fabulous. It's wonderful to have you here, and we're so excited to find out what's in your glass.
Yes, I have a very lovely Cab Sauvignon. It's from Chateau Ste. Michelle, which is a local winery here in the state of Washington in the Puget Sound region. And I chose the Canoe Ridge Estate 2011, very bold, from Horse Heaven Hills.
Love it.
Here's the label. It's one of my favorites.
Yay! Yes. And the winery must be close by as well, right?
It is very close. It's so it's a pretty big deal around here where we live. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous winery.
Yay! Are you in Woodinville as well?
Near Woodinville. So I am in Issaquah, which is probably 30 minutes from Woodinville. So real close.
I think I've ridden a balloon over your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Balloon and skydivers.
I love it. I'm not one for skydiving, but the slow, descending, gentle breezes in the balloon are fabulous. Debra, right. What's in your glass?
Well, I opened a bottle of William Church. Now, you might remember this winery, Kel, because we actually went there together.
Totally remember.
And, I was trying to have a little play on words. So we're talking about, like, the maniac mama craziness that happens. And so this is très bien, which means very well. And it's a blend of three of our favorite grapes. So Cab Franc, Merlot, and Petite Verdot. So it's super delicious, very, very drinkable, with or without food. And I know, Kelly, you never need food.
I know. It's like, why do you need food to drink?
For me, the Bordeaux need a little bit. I need a little bit of food when I eat those, but this is absolutely delicious. Super velvet on the tongue, and a local Woodinville tasting room as well.
Awesome. In my glass, I have Paperboy, the Flat Stack and Pack Company. Check it out. So it's a 2012 Chardonnay from Mendocino County Winery, and their whole concept behind this is eat, drink, and recycle. They're taking the boxed wine to the next level and making it a boxed bottle wine. The bottle's actually paper, and it's completely separate from the plastic. So what a cool way to save the planet and still get your wine. And I'll tell you what, even though the wine's in plastic, you don't taste a bit of it. It is a fabulous, buttery, kind of heavy, oaky Chardonnay, which I love. So cheers.
Cheers, ladies.
And our word for today. This is a swipe from Andy Cohen, his concept anyway. Anytime you hear the word kids, have a sip of your wine with us. Okay. So many questions, Miss Krista. So, let's first of all talk about, you've got kids, you've got a business, you're a busy entrepreneur, and there's been this glorious kind of lull of a summer, and then all of a sudden, school starts, holidays on the horizon, and the holidays don't hit us at their leisure. It's it's almost Halloween, and there's Christmas music playing.
Yeah.
And we either want to hurt somebody or we want to, take a moment to breathe and center ourselves. How do you prepare for the craziness that's coming up?
You really have to compartmentalize everything and have specific dates set to it, decorating and getting your children ready for the holiday and trying to focus on your business, and there's school activities going on. My son plays football, so there's evening practices. There's a lot going on. For me, specifically, I'm a single mother, and so I'm juggling it all, and it can get pretty crazy. It can get pretty overwhelming. So having a plan ahead of time is definitely key.
How many kids do you have?
I have one. I actually have two kids. My oldest is a junior in college, so he is not home. Love him to death. And my youngest is 11, and he is at home with me. So he's in 6th grade and very active. And so even just one child keeps a single mother very busy.
I sometimes think that the one child takes more care than if you had multiples, because the multiples kind of help each other take care to some degree if they're not fighting with each other.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so it's definitely a handful. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm thinking before we even get into the holidays, you're trying to manage your schedule and then your son's schedule, because he requires pickup, he requires food, he requires did you get your homework done? Have you done this? And then what about the quality time and keeping that relationship and that communication going and stuff like that? That's a lot, right?
It is a lot, and you have to really check in with yourself and make sure that that's happening, because you can get very inundated in the processes that you're going through. With me trying to get my business, off the ground, launch, school just started, homework starts, that's a challenge. But you just have to carve out that time every night and make sure that you're there and accessible for your child to help them. I personally spend time with my son at night, just cuddling with him, watching a TV show, after he's done his homework and before bedtime, just to so that we have that daily connection and have that ritual of bedtime as well, and just have that structure going. I think that as a single mother, if you don't check in with yourself and do that it could get out of control. So you really have to time manage and make sure that you're consciously aware of what's going on around you. And it doesn't always work out perfectly, but for the most part, that's how I try to have that quality time with my son.
And I'm going to do kind of a variation. I'm going to say that, you know, he said our word was kids, but since we have a child is the word.
Okay.
Or kids.
Is it that you just want to keep drinking, Kelly? You want to change the word?
I want to make you guys drink.
I know. No one's drank yet.
I know. Cheers, ladies. Here's to Chardonnays, fabulous families, and incredible holidays. Cheers.
Yes. Cheers.
Not to mention the fabulous wines.
So as you're sipping, you and I have met a couple of times in person, and we've had lots of chats back and forth. And one of the things I found interesting about your story was that you've recently become a single parent. So how does that work? I mean, the things that we seem to talk about, where you're not just balancing being a mom, you're balancing trying to also be, you know, a good person when it comes to talking about somebody that you're no longer with.
First, you get the man out of your house. That's the first thing.
And so, like, how did you manage to do all of those things? I mean, I love that you say the word compartmentalize, because I think there probably has to be a certain amount of that. But how did you work through that? What did you have a mantra that you said in the morning? Like, how did you keep yourself sane as you went through that first step into becoming, you know, the full-time provider when he's with you?
Yeah, I mean, the journey that it's taken me down it's been a rough road, and it took some time to really focus on myself for a while, and going through the ups and downs of a divorce and moving, and taking care of my son, and going through the whole process of, you know, trying to create a new business structure so that you can be self-supporting. And I wanted to do something that I was passionate about and that I love, but that would also be able to sustain me, and so and be there for him. That was my main goal, is to be able to sustain myself, but also be there for him every day that I have him. And so it's been, it's a learning curve every day. There are many ups and downs. There are many setbacks, and there are days where you just feel like, what am I doing? You know, it feels pretty hopeless, but you just keep going, because the end result for me is fulfillment. I want to prove to myself, but also my kids, if you work hard at something that you are passionate about, first you won't, that's that old cliched saying, but you won't work a day in your life, but you're able to be there for family and raise them yourself. And it is hard to do, and not many will go down that path. And I'm hoping that by my example, as I go through this process and I hit the goals that I've set for myself, and I can honestly tell people about it and live it, that it will inspire other women to do the same. I think single mothers are put in a box, and we're told, you can't do that, you have to do this, you've got this responsibility. And you know, it's hard enough when you're married, and being a mother, a single mother, is a whole different ballgame. So being able to create something that is fulfilling for me, but also a way to provide for my family, is the most ultimate goal I could ever do for myself. So it's been a long journey, and I'm starting to see successes, and things are growing, and it's really exciting, and I'm just bursting at the seams now, because it really was going through the divorce and everything. You also are dealing with the emotional side. So what should have taken me a lot less time, it has taken me a lot longer. But it's okay, you know, as long as I get to the finish line, that's what's important.
And I think when you say when it takes what should have taken you a lot less time, I mean, like, don't put that on yourself, because there are no, like, nobody has this, like, barometer for this is exactly how long it should take you to get over your marriage and into your single life and managing your children and your career and getting that off the ground. I mean, kudos to you. The simple fact of making sure that your son is loved and he has food on the table and a roof over his head, and that you are a good role model for him, that is a win. That is conquering the mayhem. That is providing what your child needs. So kudos to you, seriously.
Thank you, thank you.
I love that. Really, if we boil down what you said, like what kept you going and what got you over that was the fact that you knew when you were on the other side that you were going to be a great example and inspire people, and that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. I know that is going to inspire people who are listening, so thank you for sharing that.
Yes, so, I want that.
Krista, so now we're looking at the holidays, like these ugly holidays. Like, I love the holidays, but, you know, the picture that we started with, I'll bring it up just so you can see it in case anybody's forgotten. We have these the crazy, like, let the insanity begin. We have the retailers of this world that are already playing Christmas music, and I want to hurt them, and and then we have the expectations for an 11-year-old. Like, so your 11-year-old probably theoretically is going to celebrate Christmas in 2 locations, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so then, I mean, I kind of would want mine to be a better celebration, but then I'd be like, maybe that's not the healthiest for my child, and maybe I should just kind of learn from my ex what they're doing and provide something on par, you know, not too much over the top. Maybe I can sneak one little thing in. That's... Right. So what is your anticipation like as we move into the holidays? Like, Halloween's not a big one, but we're looking at, like, Thanksgiving and Christmas. What are your fears? What do you hope your child to come away with from these holidays?
What I want is for my son to have the best experience that he can. This is the first year, so he's going through a lot of firsts, not just the holidays, but many other things. And having a positive experience and not having a lot of shuffling around, and we've had it, you know, structured so that is not going to happen, but still have time with both parent. Was very important to us when we were figuring everything out, and it'll be hard for him this first year, and probably for years to come. And so we're both very sensitive to that, and you know, having a young child at 11, it's still, they're getting old enough, but they're not a teenager yet, so they're still very sensitive. Oh, yep.
I love it.
Yes. But they're very, he's very sensitive to it, and so we are very aware, and we talk about it all the time, and make it a positive thing, so he doesn't feel that, you know, it's that first time. You know,
this sounds like a really civilized relationship you have with your ex, and And so to the women out there that don't have a civilized relationship with their exes, my heart goes out to you. But it's even from hearing Krista talk about what she's going through, even when it's civilized, this is not easy. It's difficult. It's difficult for the child. It's difficult for the former spouses. It's difficult for everybody. It's awkward. It's uncomfortable. It's like always trying to figure out what's best for your children. Debra, do you have a question?
I do. So I know we're going to get to things like challenges and all of that, but I'd love to kind of bring it to the, me, sunshiny side and say, what is one thing that you did not expect, but that just surprised you and delighted you when you decided to open your own business?
Well, I knew I had, my background is marketing and advertising, and I had been doing some photography before and had connected with someone that gave me the idea of taking everything that I've known and bringing to the surface a way of incorporating my photography into helping entrepreneurs market themselves, help with branding. It just made sense, and it's a market that I have been in for so long, the B2B market, and having the ability to capitalize on that and create a company that that helps people. It goes so much farther than a family portrait or a headshot. It's telling a story of an entrepreneur who needs to brand themselves and really put themselves out there and become the authority of their field and build credibility and all these things. When I first embarked on this idea, it was pretty astonishing the amount of people that I saw online that were getting it wrong. And so I just really saw an opportunity to help a lot of people create a business for themselves that they haven't been able to create yet. And so just kind of taking all of the different things that I have done throughout my life and marrying them all together and being passionate as an entrepreneur. I've always had that underlying need to be an entrepreneur. I had a hard time. I did great in the corporate world, top salesperson here or there, but I was never truly happy inside. And so this gave me the ability to tap into that same market concept, but for myself, and do the photography that I love to do, but also raise others up and help them build successful businesses and lives that they want to live. And so that's kind of how it came about.
So from the standpoint of, I really want to, gosh, if I say standpoint again, make me drink. I hate standpoint. What is that? Buy me time. Buy me time, because I'm thinking while I come up with a question.
Okay.
Child. There we go. Cheers, ladies.
Oh, Krista, you are our people.
Oh, yes, she is. Very much so. Okay, so the question I have, because we're going to see, and I'm hoping out of our audience there are women, not only that you're speaking directly to, but there are those that are out there that are in maybe a marriage that's not the best for them. Maybe they're in a relationship that's not the best for them. And maybe they're in a job that's not the best for them, and they're thinking about, gosh, like what Krista's doing sounds so wonderful, and gosh, I would like to take a challenge like that on and like really live my life and give my children something to head towards or to see as an example that inspires them.
Mm-hmm.
what kind of message do you have for those people that are on the fence or just absolutely, there's so many of them. Every day I talk to women that are just like, I'm so terrified to take that first step. What message do you have for those ladies?
Well, I'd like to start with just a little tiny story. I accepted a job, 15 years senior in sales and had done big things. And I took this job just to make a paycheck, to make my ex happy. And it literally made me sick. The day that I left that job, I physically could not walk into the building. My body was shaking. I started crying. I thought, what am I doing with my life? And also dealing with, the end of a marriage of 15 years. So I connected with someone that created this windfall that I'm going through, this amazing journey that I'm on. But what I want to tell women in that situation is the biggest thing that you have to overcome is fear, because fear will stop you in your tracks, and fear will make you go every day to a job that you hate just to put food on the table. And I understand that's important, I do. But if you believe in yourself, like no one else will, and find that fire within you that you're not going to conform and you're not going to live life for others. You're going to live for yourself. You have one chance to do that. And do what you're passionate about. And when you do that and you're uber focused and you're committed, and I'm getting goosebumps, and you
and you have kids.
Huh?
And you have kids.
Yes. I have a child. I would say, take that leap of faith. Take that leap of faith. Do whatever you have to do. Because if you are fulfilled with yourself and you are happy, that is going to radiate on your children, your future, your family. I mean, whoever your inner circle is, if you aren't doing what you should be doing on this planet, if you are not contributing what you should be contributing, and you know it, it's not going to be good. And I just think that women have the opportunity now more than ever to really build themselves up and create something that can be a legacy for their kids. And for me, it's been a very long journey, and it's been a lot of ups and downs. It's been a lot of struggle, but it's also been a lot of huge benchmarks and productive goals and things that I've met along the way where I thought I could never do it. And I'm doing it, and it's happening. It's starting to blossom. So you just have to stay the course and believe in yourself and keep going, keep going.
Awesome. And I think that anybody that believes that anything comes easily that's worth winning is sorely misled. Wait, did I say that right? Yeah. There is struggle in success. There is struggle in getting what you want. There's struggle in sharing good examples to other people, because without struggle you don't have evolution, you don't have metamorphosis, you don't have change. So struggle, like failure, is good. It's another step in the direction that you need to go. Debra.
So I think for my last question, because I know we're probably running out of time here, is
Uh-oh.
one of the things that you talked about, and I heard you kind of pepper in a little bit, is other people telling you can't, and really like overcoming that. So if you could give a tip to our listeners on like how did you overcome and how did you quiet those voices? What kind of tip or trick do you have to share with them that they might be able to try when that's happening to them?
It takes a lot. It takes a lot of self-belief to tune out the naysayers. And for me, it is, I have spent too many years being told by someone that you can't. And I'm done. And if you can tune it out a little bit via meditation, talking with your girlfriends, having a mentor, which is huge, someone you can be accountable to that can bring you back in and say, okay, listen, yes, you can, and these are what we're going to, this is what we're going to do. It really helps to have that support line. You have to have a support line. You can't do it on your own. I've tried before, it doesn't work. You have to have that. So I would say get a very strong support line going with a mentor, a coach, your girlfriends, family, whoever you need to corral around you, your biggest cheerleaders, and pull from that, because that's going to give you the strength to keep going. So that would be my advice.
Wow, that's great.
Awesome stuff. So quickly, as we wrap, Krista, can you tell us exactly in an elevator pitch style what leading brand image does?
So leading brand image is what I do personal branding and marketing photography for entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, business owners, where they're the service or product and they need to put themselves out there as the authority in their field, build credibility in that arena, and become the go-to source that they are the solution for their customer base. And it can be anywhere from someone very fresh, they don't have a website, they don't have a brand message, and I help them with that. Or they have an existing message that they feel isn't truly capturing who they are, so I tweak that. And then once we come up with the brand message, then we create a photo shoot for their marketing photography that speaks to that, and it's consistent for their social media, their web platform, everything across the board, and it's not confusing to the people that are looking. And I teach about first impressions, I teach about nonverbal body language. There's a lot going on with an image that people don't even realize. It takes 1/10 of 1 second to create a first impression about someone. And if it's negative, they will move on. And that, with how tech savvy people are and everything's online, you have, split second to keep that person there. So it's so important to have a powerful brand image displayed and a message to back it up. And there's a lot of people out there that haven't learned that yet. So I'm out there educating, I'm teaching people about this, and it is making a difference in people's businesses and how they are able to build their business and build a life that they love.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Cheers to all of you.
Cheers.
Okay, so you can get a hold of Krista by going to theleadingbrandimage.com, or you can do what I'm going to do. I'm going to fly up to her because my message is really confusing, and I know I need some image help. And so, Krista, you and I have a date with Debra, because Debra is my personal brand expert. And you two together, I know, can make Caffeinator Media a superhero. Okay, thanks for listening to Breve TV Uncorked, and to our fans, Gold Bold Women on Wine. Subscribe to brevetv.com so you won't miss the rich goodness of the information for your entrepreneurial lifestyle. I'm Kelly Mitchell for Debra Trapin and Breve TV Uncorked, thanking Krista Sweeney for joining us. Signing off. Take care, everybody. Dun, 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 dun.